Hi, everybody. I hope everyone's doing okay. I've been getting a lot of emails about how confused some of you are about the lesson on complementary and supplementary angles. So hopefully this will help. If we look at complementary angles and supplementary angles, we spoke about these a little before we left. Complementary angles are two angles that add up to 90 degrees, and together they form a right angle. Supplementary angles are two angles that add up to 180. So together they make a straight line being right here. So it's important that we know and that we can recognize when they would add up to 90 and when they would make a straight line. When we know that, we can use that information to help us find the measure of a missing angle. So if we look at this, we know from elementary school that this is a right angle because it makes an L. And a right angle usually has that little box. So we know that the 50 plus some number has to equal 90. So in order to figure out what that is, some of you will probably just be able to do it in your head and say, well, 90 minus 50 is x. But another way we can do it is to write an equation. So if we write an equation, we know that 50 plus x, whatever x is, we don't know yet, we're going to find that out, has to equal 90. Then we can solve this. Remember, we want to get x by itself. So we're going to move the 50. We're going to subtract 50 from both sides. The 50s will cancel out, and we're left with x equals 40. When we look down below, sometimes our right angles can be a little hidden with all these other little rays that are poking out. So if we look really closely, we can see that there's a right angle here. So sometimes we just have some information that we don't need. So if we look at this angle, which is x, and this angle, which is 45, we know that together they have to equal 90 because this is a right angle. So we can write the equation x plus 45 equals 90. If we solve this, we can subtract 45 from both sides. And remember, we always want to have something that cancels out. So we're left with x equals 45. So we know that this is 45 degrees. Okay, so those are complementary angles. Let's look at supplementary angles. So again, you can tell they're supplementary when they make a straight line at the bottom. And if we look at this obtuse angle is 140 plus this angle makes a half a circle, which is also 180 in a straight line. So we know that 140 plus x equals 180. And then we can subtract the 140 from both sides. Positive 140 and negative 140 are going to cancel out, and we're left with x equals 40. So we know that x is 40 degrees. And if we go back and test all of these, it should work. 140 plus 40 is 180. So it's really the same thing. It's just if they're complementary and they make a right angle, they equal 90. And sometimes they're a straight line and they equal 180. And again, sometimes they look a little bit more confusing. So when we look at this, we actually see two straight lines. We see this one and this one. Since we only have numbers in these two angles, we're just going to focus on this angle. An angle is kind of like a slice of pizza, and this slice of pizza. We know if we put them together, we make a straight line, so they have to equal 180. So we can say that 2x plus the 120 has to equal 180. Now we're going to solve this, but now this is a two-step equation. So remember, we move the constant first. If this is plus 120, to get rid of it, we have to subtract 120 from both sides. And you're welcome to use calculators at home for this. You can cancel the 120s, bring down what's left. 2x equals 60. So our first step is always addition or subtraction. And now when we look, this is multiplication, so we're going to do the opposite, which is division. So we're going to divide both sides by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1x, or just x, equals, and then 60 divided by 2 equals 30. So we know that x equals 30. Okay, now the fact that x equals 30 doesn't tell us that this whole thing is 30, But it does tell us that x is 30, which is what we wanted to find. But if we wanted to know the whole angle, we know if x is 30 and we do 2 times that, then this whole angle is 60. And 60 plus 120 is what gives us the 180. Okay, and the one other one I wanted to show you is when it gets a little more tricky. When we have this, it can look a little scary, but it's the same thing. So we look at this slice of pizza, this angle, and then this angle, and we have to ask ourselves, does it equal 90 or 180? Well, it's not an L, it's a straight line, so it has to equal 180. So we're going to take this piece, or this angle, x plus 30, plus the 2x, and that's going to equal 180. So this is a multi-step equation. So here, first we're going to combine like terms. Remember donuts with cream and sprinkles? I'm sorry, I'm holding the phone while I do this. So first you're going to distribute, but there is nothing to distribute. So we're going to go to combine. We can combine the 2x and the 1x. So we get 3x plus 30 equals 180. Subtract 30 from both sides. 30's cancel out, so we have 3x equals 150. Divide both sides by 3, and x equals 50. So now we know that the solution is x equals 50, which is all we needed to know. But if we want to know how big the whole angle is, if we put 50 here, we know that 50 plus 30 is 80. And here, this would be 50. So 2 times 50 is 100. And 80 plus 100 is 180, so that makes the straight line. I may have not drawn this one to scale. Well, I hope this all helps, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.